Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, welcome to the show. This is the Millennial Millionaire podcast, and I am your host, Stephen Cohen. This podcast is focused on bringing some of the wisest minds from across the globe to discuss concepts, strategies, and ideals that will lead them to be top performers in their respective industries and their lives. This show is for the millennials and millennials at heart to transcend their mindset, their health, and their income to the next level. We are so excited to have you on this journey with us. Welcome to the show. Yo, welcome back to the show, Millennial Millionaires. This is Stephen Cohen, your host, and I am extremely excited to have our next guest on here today. We have my good buddy, my best Habibi, Austin Moiseyev.
Best Habibi.
Austin is the bug king. He's done over $60 million in revenue just last year in pest control sales. 50, my apologies.
No worries.
He's been in the door-to-door industry and direct sales industry for over a decade, and honestly just one of the best sales trainers, sales recruiters, and anything that comes to building culture, building teams, I believe, in the industry. So Austin, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey man, thanks for having me, man. I'm super pumped.
Happy to have you, man. Happy to have you. Bro, we've known each other for a really long time. We actually met in Israel, which is
Almost a decade, man.
Almost a decade.
It's been a decade.
Which
crazy.
Is crazy. You were actually the
quick.
one that got me into entrepreneurship. And I think it's super crazy to see just our growth. I think it's important to have people in your life who, you're able to hold accountable, and people who are on a similar journey, maybe not the same vehicle, but similar journey to keep in your life. Mm-hmm. As we talk about, law of association is extremely important. Can you touch a little bit about how law of association has brought success and value to your life and your professional career?
Yeah, I mean, we all know the saying, you become who you surround yourself with. The people you spend most of your time with is, at the end of the day, like, that's who you're going to become. I like the saying, birds of a feather, flock together. So it's super important, you're aware of, who you're spending your time with. You know what I mean? Like, you surround yourself with guys that, don't have any ambitions, don't have any goals. They're playing Xbox all day. They're smoking weed. They're doing this. They're doing that. You're going to become, the same person as them, right? And so super important to surround yourself with people that have the results you want, or people that, are going to push you to level up, to, become the person you're trying to become. So it's super important.
For you, when did you realize that? Because, we've both been in the game for a while, but I think for both of us, there was a shift for us to really consciously realize that we have to start doing things different in our life if we wanted different results. Mm-hmm. And part of that was associating with different people. When was that shift for you?
I think it was back in the network marketing days when we, started slinging some energy drinks.
Yeah.
Vima, YPR, the good old days. But just realize, like, if you want something different, you got to do something different. If you continue doing, what everyone else is doing, if you follow what 97% of the people in this world are doing, you're going to get the same results as them. So it's super important that, you're listening to the right people, you're doing something different. If you follow the crowd, you're going to get the exact same results.
Yeah, I think what you just said is super valuable. When people ask me, what's a tip to success, or like, why do you think you've been able to be in the position that you're currently at? Mm-hmm. And the first thing that comes to mind is, who do you listen to?
Oh, for sure, dude.
I think most people are just listening to the wrong people, and they're getting the wrong information. And I think the challenge out there is, especially in the 21st century, we're both pretty young. You're 28, I'm 29, almost 30. Pretty crazy,
man. Almost 30.
I know, but we both, had a part of our life before cell phones were a thing, and before social media was a thing, and before you could, literally hop on your cell phone and Google how to become a millionaire, or how to get good at drop shipping. We're currently in the information age, and I feel like with all this information out here, it's very, very important for young people, young professionals, people trying to level up and be something professionally, to audit the people that they're listening to. And if those individuals that you're listening to don't have the physical manifestation of what you're trying to acquire, then you probably shouldn't be taking advice for them.
100%. I agree.
And I think the issue is, most college people, they're listening to professors, they're listening to their parents, their colleagues, people that don't necessarily have the results, but are teaching them how to become successful. And as me and you both know, at the end of the day, you can't learn something from someone unless they've done it themselves. What mentors have you had in your life, man? Whether it's digital mentors, people that you've just seen on YouTube, or, you know, people that have come into your life that have really helped mold you into the entrepreneur, into the person you are?
Yeah, I would say my biggest mentor is my dad. Not just like from business standpoint, but just like who he is as an individual, who he is as a father, you know, just an all around, you know, that guy is my absolute hero. Love that guy to death. And in terms of like, you know, business, I would say, you know, dude, there is so much information. There's so much, you know, resources out there, you know, books. I remember, you know, my first book I ever read was by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And, you know, Napoleon Hill, he studied the most successful people that ever walked the planet. And it's like, okay, if, you know, success leaves footprints, which it, you know, obviously does, like, don't overcomplicate it. Like, find someone that has what you want, someone that has actually accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, and don't reinvent the wheel. Do what they do, think how they think, you know, create the same habits as them. And by default, you're going to get those results if you just put your head down and freaking work. So books is a big one for me. You know, I'm super, you know, blessed and lucky to, you know, be able to be partnered with, you know, some of the top guys in the entire industry of, you know, door to door and sales in general. So, you know, guys like, you know, Pat and Gaines, Doug and Greg, those guys are just unbelievable mentors. You know, they've taught me a ton, and, you know, just trying to learn from them and duplicate it, man.
Yeah. And I think most people out there, they're looking for mentors. You know, I would say, you know, 99 out of every 100 self-book, there's a chapter in there that says, you got to go find a mentor. You got to go find a mentor. You know, I remember even myself, you know, when I was broke, busted, disgusted, trying to figure out, you know, how this game of entrepreneur works, and just trying to, you know, figure out how to get away from my 9 to 5. I was always trying to find a mentor, but I never found one. I had to create my own success before I started to attract people into my life that would then, you know, collab and support me in what I'm trying to accomplish. What would you say for those people out there, maybe those young, ambitious, hungry, you know, professionals out there trying to level up, but don't necessarily have a mentor or are trying to find a mentor?
I mean, dude, just like you just touched on, we are in the 21st century. There's so much value. There's so much information. You just got to go out there and be resourceful, just to keep it super simple. Like, a lot of guys, oh man, I can't find a mentor. Oh man, like, you know, knowing my family's successful. Like, dude, you have a smartphone, you have access to the internet. There's YouTube University. You can download free, you know, PDFs online.
Audible Academy.
Like, you know, you just got to, you know, put the excuses aside. Like, there's literally no excuses. You can find a mentor, whether they're alive or they're dead. Like, just, you know, read. You know, watch your podcast or listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos. Like, you just got to go out there and, you know, be resourceful. You can't make any excuse. Just be resourceful. That's it.
Yeah. What does Tony Robbins say? It's not a lack of resources. It's a lack of resourcefulness. 100%. What impact has personal development, books, audibles, audios have had on your life?
I mean, dude, I try to do it for at least an hour a day, whether I'm listening to an audiobook, podcast, reading. But I would say creating the habit of just every single day I'm learning, every single day I'm getting better. You know, I love the saying, you can only build as high up as your foundation is deep, right? If you want to build an empire, okay, an empire with no foundation, no structure, what's going to happen? It's going to crash and burn, right? And so, like, if you want to actually build an empire, if you want to build, you know, a strong organization, or if you're trying to have a lot of success, you have to have those strong, you know, that strong foundation, or it's just going to crash and burn. So, you know, personal development, it's huge. The quote by Jim Rohn, you know, success is not something that you get. Success is something that you attract by the person that you become.
Jimmy Rohn. Shout out.
So if you want more, you got to become more, right? So it's huge, man. If you want to have long-term success, like, you know, success will always, you know, be a direct reflection of your personal development. If you want long-term success, you have to, you know, become that individual, and you have to be able to give that value. And, you know, I'm a big believer, if your intentions are right, you know, and you just want to help others, like, success, you know, money, it's just going to be the byproduct.
I agree, man. I love what you said. And that quote, you know, success is really a reflection of the individual that you become. you and I both know people, friends, acquaintances, people that we've worked with over the last 10 years who maybe have had quick success. You know, maybe they've crushed it in a certain industry or, you know, network marketing and had that quick success, made really good money at a really young age. And it's crazy because over the long-term game, you know, over 5 years, 10 years, observing, you know, people, most of them have either lost all of it or they're never really able to progress and get to the level that they needed to, or that we're on a trajectory to, where you look at other people, you know, some of our friends, yourself, I like to think myself, who, you know, it took us a really long time to get some type of success. You know, we both did network marketing for 3 years and made literally no money. But, you know, once we were able to kind of figure it out, we slowly, progressively plateaued and our income has increased every single year and we've been able to sustain it. Why do you think those people out there that get success quick and then lose it versus the individual that can continue to progress and over time will almost outlast the competition and hit those next levels of success that they're trying to achieve?
Yeah, great question, man. I would just say like consistency is huge. Like a lot of people, they'll have, you know, success, they'll have a big success, but they just get super complacent. They get cocky, you know, they get this, they get that, and they don't do those things that got them to that destination. And they get success as a destination. In reality, it's a journey, dude. It's, you know, success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream, goal. So it's the, you know, it's the process. People just, you know, you got to fall in love with the process of success. And, you know, I would say though, is like, they just get complacent. They stop doing all those things. They stop reading. They stop having a dialed morning routine. They stop doing the personal development. They stop having that hunger, that grit, that work ethic that got them there. And, you know, if success is, you know, your level of success is never going to, you know, surpass your level of personal development. Once you stop growing, dude, you die. I mean, not obviously not, you know, literally, but, you know, you're either growing or you're dying.
Spiritual death.
Exactly, man. Like you're either growing your muscles or you're either growing your mentality or you're dying. So, you know, I would say with us and a lot of other people, like it's just, you know, I think we're not the smartest, but we're just super consistent on doing those daily things. And we're obsessed with the process. We're obsessed with the personal development. We're obsessed with learning. We're obsessed with, you know, gaining value so that we can give. Right. And I just feel like, you know, we're just genuine people that just like really love to see, you know, and give an impact on, you know, others.
Yeah. I like the word you use, obsessed. You know, I think Grant Cardone, pretty popular guy. Probably most people
I've never
heard Grant. Yeah. Grant Cardone, I think he's really brought that be obsessed or be average. That's the title of one of his books. But the concept of being obsessed, I think for a really long time, you know, even myself, I thought obsession was something negative, you know, like you're addicted to something. There's a negative connotation with being obsessed. And I would say as of the last 2 or 3 years, the connotation with being obsessed is something positive, because the only way for you to accomplish anything big out of life, whether you want to be the best athlete, you want to be the best father, you want to be the best pastor, rabbi, business leader, sales professional, whatever, you have to literally be obsessed with one sole target for long enough for you to become a master at it. You know, a jack of all trades is a master of none. So you have to be extremely obsessed. You know, Ed Mylett talks about his obsessions will eventually become your possessions.
Sure.
Why do you think people can't take that level of obsession to whatever they're trying to accomplish? Or why do you think people get obsessed in the wrong thing, which eventually will lead to them not being able to achieve their goals?
Yeah, I love that question. So first answer would be, there's just so many distractions. First off, people aren't actually crystal clear on what it is they're trying to accomplish, right? I think that's the first step. Like, if you don't have clarity, if you don't have a vision for what it is you're trying to accomplish, like, you're going to get sidetracked. There's so many distractions, whether social media, whether ads, whether, you know, this, that, the other thing. Like, if you don't have a locked in vision of what it is you're trying to accomplish, like, you're going to get sidetracked. So the first things first, like, you got to figure out what it is you're trying to accomplish. Whether it's a short-term goal, long-term goal, you know, you got to get that on a piece of paper and locked down. And then once you have that, you know, this is my mission, this is what I'm going to accomplish, this is my obsession, right? This is what I want out of life. I feel like once you get to that point with that crystal clear vision, it's a lot easier to stay focused. It's a lot easier to maintain, doing all those little things right day in and day out. But, the reason why a lot of people are just kind of drifting. I mean, we are in the information age. We're so technologically advanced, but a lot of people, they're using that and they're it's a distraction for them. They're scrolling on Instagram, they're watching TV, they're watching Netflix, they're doing this. And I think a big reason that is they just don't know what they want. They don't have a clear vision of what it is they're trying to accomplish, and they just get very distracted very easily. So I would say the first step is, what do I want to accomplish out of my life? What is my goal? Having a crystal clear goal, crystal clear vision, and this is what I want. This is what, having that vision, and then having that belief, I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to do what's actually necessary and required to make it happen. So I think those are the first two steps you need to have, to lose all the distractions and just go all in.
I love that. Yeah, man, I think you're 100% right. When I look back at my own career and my own journey, there was a period in my life where the only thing I cared about, the only thing I thought about, all my decisions had to do with my chief aim, my goals, my dreams. I was either taking actions to move me closer, or I was taking actions to move me further away. And, what people don't realize is that invisible compound effect. I know me and you are both fans of Darren Hardy, and, the compound effect is such an interesting concept that unfortunately most people, they're using it to their detriment instead of to their advantage. Can you speak on the compound effect and the impact it's made on your life?
Impact. I think that's a big reason both of our success. It's like we are consistently doing those right things. It's literally been a decade since we got introduced to business, entrepreneurship, sales, right? And every single day we're doing those little things. We're getting those small wins, and it compounds, right? What compounding interest is the seventh wonder of the world? Eighth wonder of the world. So it makes a big difference. Like, a lot of people, they go to a seminar, they get super motivated, and they just try to make all these drastic changes. Oh, I'm going to start waking up at 5 a.m. Oh, I'm going to read 3 hours a day. In reality, you just have to get those small wins that you can be consistent with. Someone, is a little bit overweight. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. You start going to the gym for 3 hours a day. Like, that's not sustainable. When the reality is, like, you just need to be consistent with a routine, a diet, put your head down and just be consistent, because everything compounds. All the, decisions, all the habits, that you're doing are compounding over time. And that's really what's going to dictate, whether you're going to be successful or not.
I love that. Let's talk about the gym a little bit and your physical well-being and how that affects your mental, spiritual, and financial well-being. Ever since I've known you, you've been a gym
just shredded
addict,
absolutely shredded
gym addict. But more importantly than the physical appearance, you've always used the gym to keep your state, your vibration, your frequency, and your mental clarity strong so you can show up to your business ventures and every other aspects of your life. Why has that been such an important factor in who you are today?
Yeah, I mean, success, a lot of success has to do with your mentality, your energy, right? And, the gym is just so therapeutic. You go to the gym first thing in the morning, get the endorphins going. You do the hardest thing, get it out of the way, and, you feel good. When you're feeling good, you're operating at a higher frequency, and, it's just, it compounds, right? If you want to, be successful, like, dude, you have to go to the gym. Like, success means absolutely nothing if you don't have your health. Like, if you're eating unhealthy, you're not going to the gym, like, you feel like crap. Like, it doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world. Like, if you're not healthy, if you don't feel good, like, it just means nothing. So, I would say it's so important. If you're not going to the gym, if you don't have a workout routine, if you're not on a diet, like, it will transform how you feel, it'll transform your energy level, it'll transform like how you're performing, you know, not just in business, but just how you're performing in life in general. And it just, you know, gets your mindset right, gets your energy right. And, you know, it's a huge part of my life. And, you know, if I stop going to the gym, I start freaking out, man.
Do you believe in balance, or is balance something that isn't necessarily real if you have to, you know, become obsessed in a certain industry?
I mean, I feel like there's stages, but, you know, it really just depends on, you know, what it is you're trying to accomplish. Like Elon Musk, for example, this man is trying to completely change the world. This man is obsessed. Like it really just comes down to like what it is. What do you want to accomplish? Like, how do you want your life to look? And so, like, if you want to have a balanced life, that's 100% fine. But, you know, I would say, like, starting out, like, you have to be obsessed. Yeah, have some fun, you know, schedule time throughout the week, you know, go out, have fun, but, like, get locked in on what it is you're trying to accomplish, right? And just be obsessed with those beginning stages. And I think it really just comes down to, like, what do you want to accomplish, right? If you want to accomplish big things, you got to make sure, like, the work ethic, your obsession, you know, all your habits are consistent with what your goals are. You know what I mean? So it comes down to you. I would say most successful people on the planet, they have a little bit of balance, but there is a little bit more of just obsession towards that chief aim.
I would agree, man.
That's my opinion on it.
I would agree. I think there's different seasons in people's lives. You know, early on in my career, I didn't have a balanced life at all. I had to be extremely obsessed. I had to drop my life. I had to change my environment. I had to immerse myself in uncomfortable situations and only focus on the thing that I wanted to eventually create enough sustainability in my business where now I can afford the leisure to have a little bit more balance in my life. And I feel like for a lot of people, until they really hit that stride in their business and in their professional life and, you know, whatever goals they want to accomplish, you can't necessarily afford the leisure of balance because you have to put so much energy in your life force into something to get enough momentum to really get that thing going in order to have the ability to have a little bit more sustainability.
Yep.
So I would agree, man. Let's pivot a little bit. So for the last 8 years now, we've both been in the same industry, door-to-door, direct sales, which is almost kind of crazy to say. You know, if you would have asked me 10 years ago after I dropped out of college, like, what would you be doing 10 years from now? You know, I probably would have told you I'd be traveling. I probably would have told you I'd be making good money. I probably told you I'd be living a good life. I definitely wouldn't have told you it'd been through door-to-door direct sales.
Crazy, man.
What impact has the industry had on your life, as well as what initially attracted you to the industry? Because you were actually the one that originally showed me and kind of educated me on it.
I got you involved in FEMA, got you involved in the door-to-door game.
For the record, he did change my life, so
Gotcha,
appreciate
buddy.
you.
You're welcome. Appreciate you, man. But originally, you know, I was going to school at UNLV. We had just failed, you know, a couple network marketing companies for the last couple of years, and I just honestly just hated school. It just wasn't for me. And, you know, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to, you know, own my own business. And I guess the biggest thing, you know, I was broke at the time, but I realized, like, if I want to be successful as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, the most essential skill set I need to learn and develop is the ability to effectively sell. Like, if you're going to be successful as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you need to learn sales. Right? And I saw, you know, door-to-door sales is the most raw form of sales on the planet. And so, you know, I saw the advocates, so many multimillionaires, billionaires that attribute a lot of their success through doing door-to-door. And so I ended up taking a leap of faith back in 2015. It's crazy to say. And, you know, the rest is, it's been a wild ride, man. It's been crazy to see the growth, the momentum, and, you know, more importantly, like the impact we've been able to make on a pretty large scale, you know, with all the guys that, you know, we've been in contact with in our organization, and to see them grow. And, you know, it's just super fulfilling and super humbling. And, you know, it's crazy to kind of see that growth, man. But, you know, we're both just getting started too. It's just the tip, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember listening to a audio by someone me and you both know of, is Eric Worre, a lifestyle entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
And he interviewed people around the world, basically trying to find like what your dream job or that dream profession would be. And he really boiled it down to 3 characteristics that people from different backgrounds, different countries, all around the world really narrowed it down to. And the 3 things were no cap on your income, right? You want to be in an opportunity, a job, a career where you're paid based on your value, not necessarily what someone else dictates. They wanted time flexibility, time freedom, so they didn't have to ask to go on a vacation. If they had their kid's baseball game, they could be there without necessarily having to compromise, sick days and stuff like that. Have freedom in terms of that work-life balance. Mm-hmm. And then the last one is being around like-minded people. No one likes being around people that they feel like they don't have things in common with and that don't inspire them. And it's funny because those 3 characteristics, I feel like direct sales exuviates the most. It really is an amazing industry with amazing potential, with amazing earning potential. Yet most people just see a door-to-door guy and like, oh man, I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah.
So many people over my career is like, oh man, why are you doing this? Go get a real job. And it's just so crazy to me how such an amazing opportunity that creates so much success, so much experience, so much personal development, is such a low key opportunity that most people don't really know about.
It's crazy.
It is, man. We both worked with a ton of people, probably combined thousands of people have come in and out of our business in the last 7-8 years. What do you think separates the people that come in, they're super excited, but they're not here a year from now, and they go back to their normal 9-to-5, or they drift into another opportunity, they're never able to make it, versus the person that comes in, same opportunity, same comp plan, same mentorship, same support, and uses this opportunity to go create $250,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 income and changing their life forever? What's the difference?
I would just say obsession, dude.
Goes back to obsession?
It goes back to obsession. Like a guy that comes out, kills it, makes a couple $100,000 in a summer. They see the opportunity. They see, the proof in the pudding. They see what's right in front of them, and they just like, okay, I'm going to make it happen. And they just get obsessed. They get obsessed with the training. They get obsessed with the craft. They get obsessed with the personal development. And they come summertime or come, when rubber hits the road, they put their head down and, they just are relentless with their work ethic. They put their head down and they're consistent with their work ethic. It doesn't matter, if they're sick. It doesn't matter if they have a tummy ache. Like, they have a set schedule. They have a set routine, and they just put their head down, and they are just it's automatic. They just create these habits, these rituals, and it's a non-negotiable. They put their head down and they work, and they're obsessed with learning. They're obsessed with growing. They're obsessed with perfecting the craft and sharpening the saw. That is it. If someone comes out and sees the opportunity for what it is, right? They create a goal for themselves. They have crystal clear vision, right? And they do what is necessary and required. They put the work in. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. And then, other people that come in, they have an average summer, they kind of dabble in the training, they put one foot in, one foot out. Oh man, I'll just do this as a summer job, whatever makes some extra income. Others, they see the opportunity for what it is, that they realize, the only cap is my limitations I put on myself. They understand, like, this is an unbelievable opportunity to, not only make a ton of money, but, be able to develop a skill set that's going to literally last them for the rest of their life. A lot of guys our age, I want to be a business owner. I want to, and that's all great, but dude, you have to learn how to sell. And so that's what I say to a lot of the guys. It's like, whether you want to do this for summer, or whether you want to do this long term, like, if you want to be a business owner, which you tell me you do, you have to learn you have to learn how to communicate effectively. You have to learn how to, read body language, manage your tonality, have unwavering confidence in your tone and that conviction, and just really like understanding what it takes to be successful at sales. So some people see the opportunity for what it is. Others, do they just take, they just take it for, and they don't really put the necessary work in required. And what I love is, guys, they come into the business and they have the exact same training. They're talking to the exact same people, the only X factor is them. So they just got, just got to realize the opportunity for what it is and make that decision, put your head down and just work. No excuses, just work.
Yeah, it's empowering, man. Door-to-door direct sales is very black and white. It's either you're making the money you want or you're not. You're driving the car you want or you're not. You're putting up the numbers you want or you're not. You're living the lifestyle you want or you're not. And the empowering thing about it is the only person that you have either to thank or to blame is yourself. Because if other people are out there making it happen with the same resources and same playing field, the only X factor, to your point, is yourself. And I think the big thing with most people out there in sales or really any type of opportunity like this is they end up leaning too much into victimhood instead of empowermenthood.
What's the saying? You point one finger.
You got two coming back.
You got three coming back.
Three coming back. Yeah. But it's so true. I mean, we both read Extreme Ownership before. And, that book has made such a big impact on my life because it's such a simple concept, but it's simple to learn, but extremely hard to apply consistently.
I agree.
And most people that I deal with on a daily basis who aren't hitting their goals or not achieving what they want or not progressing is because they don't take extreme ownership over their life. Mm-hmm. And the issue with that is when you're blaming the marketplace, or you're blaming your manager, or you're blaming the economy, or who's president, or, Austin didn't train me this, or my product offering sucks, or, in my industry, right? Oh, they changed the interest rates, whatever. If you're blaming all these external circumstances for your lack of success, guess who doesn't have the power to actually change it and make a difference? You don't. Right? So taking full ownership over everything that happens over your life, good or bad, right? Like I believe that everything that I've accomplished, all the good, all the bad, I've attracted by the person I've become. Therefore, if I don't like something, I have the opportunity and the ability to change it, not necessarily blame external circumstances for stuff that necessarily isn't mine.
Sauce,
bro, but it's facts.
Facts.
Let's talk about visualization, law of attraction.
I love talking about
I
that.
know you do. The spiritual side of success. We've been talking a lot about like work ethic and consistency and, motivation and confidence, right? Like all that stuff is extremely important, but most people know that stuff, right? Like, oh, I need to work hard. I need to be confident. I need to be motivation. But there's a reason just because they know it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do it, right? To know and not to do is not to know. Yep. So let's talk a little bit about visualization and law of attraction. What experience, what impact, what things can you speak on that have had that, opportunity of your life in order for you to be able to execute on these skills and attributes that we've been speaking of?
Yeah. I mean, well, it just comes down to the fact that, I would say 80 to 90% of success is your mentality. It's your energy. It's your mindset. It's your thought process. It's how you're operating, right? And so, knowing that, that high percentage of success is dictated by that, like you got to do everything in your power to make sure you're creating that identity that's going to serve you. You got to do everything in your power to make sure you're operating at that frequency that's going to be congruent with what you're trying to accomplish. Because a lot of people, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to, make a six-figure income, but your identity is telling you otherwise. Like you can never outperform your identity. You can never outperform how you're operating. And so I would say it's just super important and super, significant to like understand, hey, if I want to accomplish big things, I have to get my mindset right. I have to get, my thought process right. I got to change those patterns of thinking that haven't been serving me, right, to where they need to be in order to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish.
How do you change those patterns? Because both you and me have done a lot of inner work in order to eliminate and replace a lot of our limiting beliefs about money, about success, about just really life in general. How do people take the first step in order to start to reprogram their mind and start, just having a better operating system?
Well, I'm a big believer in whatever the mind feeds upon, it brings upon.
Oh.
So if that's true, which 100% is, dude, you got to feed your mind. Like you feed your body, You got to feed your mind. If you're going to be successful in business, you have to feed your mind. The most successful entrepreneurs, most successful business owners, what are they doing every single day? They're reading, they're developing their mindset, they're growing. So, I would say if you're not where you want to be, you have to change how you view yourself. You have to change your thought process. If you continue to think as you've always thought,
you'll continue to get as you always got.
Yep. So it's just understanding those facts, and it's like, okay, well, affirmations is a huge thing. Incantations is a huge thing. Incantations is, saying these affirmations over and over again. If you continue doing that, your subconscious mind is going to start to, take it as fact, and you're going to start to act upon that new identity. But I think it really comes down to like, just doing it day in and day out. I remember my biggest breakout summer I had was, going into 2017. And, my big goal was I wanted to hit partnership that year. I wanted to partner in the company, and I wanted to be a top 10 rep nationally. And, I remember after, that 2016 year, we had our, manager development program. And, there's a presenter, he talked about the importance of, doing affirmations, the importance of like creating that identity consistent with what your goal is, right? And I just made a choice and a decision that I was going to, every single morning, right when I woke up, and every single night before I went to sleep, I was going to write down my affirmations. It's literally an extra 3 to 5 minutes a day, but I was just religious with it. I'd wake up, I'd write it down. Before I went to sleep, I'd write down my affirmation. I'm going to be top 10 in the company, right? I'm going to be a partner. I'm the best salesman in the world. And I'm like, what I'm doing is I'm programming my mind, creating that new identity for myself that's congruent with my goal, what I'm trying to accomplish. And I did that. I made a decision. I'm going to do that without a doubt. No wavering, right? As a non-negotiable. Every single day I'd do it. And, come summer, I'd still do it. I'd still do the affirmation. I ended up that year finishing top 10 in the company and ended up partnering that year. It was my biggest breakout, summer. And, I think a lot had to do with getting my mindset to where it was.
It was powerful, man. And for everyone listening, Jim Rohn said that success is easy to do, but it's easy not to do. What Austin just said is very simple. For 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks straight, writing down your goals, writing down, who you want to be, right? Reprogramming your mind, spending that extra 5 to 10 minutes a night to focus on yourself, your goals, because at the end of the day, whatever is on the forefront of your mind, right? We become what we think about. That's easy to do. But it's also easy not to do, because most people, they'll hear something like that, right? They'll listen to a motivational video. They'll listen to a seminar that they'll spend $300 for, and they'll get super pumped up, but they won't actually apply it. Or if they do apply it, they apply it only for a short amount of time, and they're never able to get consistent. And because of that, they're not getting consistent results. Can you speak on a little bit about habits and how habits have played a big part in your life? From how to develop them, from how to identify negative ones, and just ultimately how people can use that as a tool instead of a crutch in getting closer to their goals.
Yeah. Habits are, what's going to make or break your success. Like if your, habits are, congruent, consistent with what you're trying to accomplish, it's going to serve you very well. But if it's not, it's going to be a huge, crutch. And so I would say make sure the habits, the rituals, the routines that you're doing day in, day out are consistent with what you're trying to accomplish. A lot of people, we talk about this all the time, but like, oh, dude, I get super pumped after I watch this YouTube video, or they go to a seminar, they're freaking pumped, and they write down all these habits that they're trying to accomplish. Or they write down this new schedule, this new routine, and they stick to it for like a week, 2 weeks, and they just get complacent, and they just stop doing it. And so I would say is, what that does unconsciously is you start losing confidence in yourself, right? And self-confidence is so important and huge in success, right? So if you make these habits, okay, you have to create the identity that you are someone that is going to follow through with your habits without a doubt. It doesn't matter if you feel sick. It doesn't matter if you get zero sleep. It doesn't matter how you're feeling. Like, your disciplines and your rituals are going to determine your success. So, you got to make sure your habits are congruent with your success. And it goes really back to the fundamental concept of like success leaves clues. If you're trying to accomplish something, what are the habits? What are the rituals? What is, is the mindset of these people that have already accomplished what I'm trying to accomplish? Duplicate that. Don't overcomplicate it, right? And you got to be consistent with it, dude. Like, you just have to make it a non-negotiable. It's so important. You have to create that identity. You have to create that belief that you are someone that follows through with those commitments, with those habits. Because as you start to do it over and over and over again, you get to that unconscious level where you don't have to consciously think about it. You just, your alarm doesn't even have to go off. It's 6 a.m. You just instantly wake up because you programmed your mind to wake up that early. Because you do it, you've been doing it day in and day out. So you got to make sure, the habits are congruent, man.
Love that, man. I agree 100%. That unconscious mind is so powerful. And most people don't realize that you can command your unconscious mind, but the only way to command it is through repetition. Repetition is the mother of learning. If you tell yourself a lie long enough, it eventually becomes a true. And especially if you can take action upon that and start acting as if, and you do that enough times and you start changing the way that you look at yourself. And the crazy thing is the way that you typically view yourself is the way that other people view you.
Yep.
And when you change your worldview, everything else changes. I forget who said the quote, but he said, when you start to change the way you look at things, the things you start to look at change.
Ours.
And I think that's so true. So man, you've accomplished a lot. You've been, you're basically at the top of the bug game, crushing it, high level teams, duplicating, success stories like crazy, hitting a lot of your goals and dreams that you once thought were potentially unimaginable not too long ago. What keeps you out of that complacency mindset? Like, why are you still so motivated? I get it when people have their back against a wall and you're trying to make it, you're trying to pay your bills, you're trying to level up, right? You have that urgency and you have that fear and that pain in order to push you. But once you get to a level where you're pretty comfortable financially, right? You have all the bills, you can kind of autopilot and still maintain what you're doing. A lot of people will turn that complacency switch on and, their income will start to cap. What for you keeps you sharp, keeps you hungry, keeps you motivated to continue to operate at a high level and continue to reach for the stars?
Oh man, I love that question. I would say right now in my career, I am more, locked in, more focused than I've ever been. The routine's dialed, the personal development's dialed, the schedule's locked in, dialed. And, I think a big reason to that is, I got a lot of guys that, are looking up to me. Right. And, I want to make sure I'm leading from the front and, I'm inspiring my guys, not through what I say, but through my actions. And so, I think that's huge, man. I want to, set a good tone. I want to set the tone, speed of the leader, speed of the team. And so, and then also, the fact that, there's no destination, dude. Like, the destination is when you die, right? It's, it's all about the journey. It doesn't matter how much success you have. Like, you're always going to continue wanting to grow, evolve, and develop. And, it's just, I'm obsessed with the process right now, man. I'm locked in. I want to continue setting the tone. I want to continue leading from the front. My guys, I can't have my guys outworking me. I can't have the guys I'm working with. I can't have them, more locked in than I am. It's just not going to happen. So, I would say, big motivation right now is the team, and the vision for the future, man. We have, I know it's cliche, but we have one opportunity at this life. It goes by quick, man. You're 30 this next year, man. I'm 29 next year. It goes by quick, man. It's already been 10 years in the game, and life goes by quick, man. I just want to make the most of it, and I want to inspire others to do big things, man. And I think you're in the same wavelength as me, and you want to make a dent in the world. You want to make a positive impact, a positive ripple effect, man. And, it's super fulfilling. It's super rewarding to kind of see, your actions and how your words can make a positive impact on someone's life. And it's super super humbling to see someone actually like, hey man, you changed my life. Hey man, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in the position I'm at. So it's obviously, yeah, the money's amazing, but focus on the right things, have the right intentions, and it's just a byproduct, man. Just focus on helping people get to that next level. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, so that way you can inspire guys in your team and guys in your organization to become better, not just business wise, but just overall, just humans. And so that's the motivation right now. It's awesome to make good money, but more importantly, to just the impacts, big. That's why I just feel like this is my dream job, dude. I get to work with my best friends. I get to positively make an impact on guys. Every morning I do a training when I travel to different offices, and yeah, man, I got to make sure that I'm operating at the right frequency. I'm practicing, or I'm following through with what I preach. So
I love that, man. I think for all you direct sales people, door-to-door people out there, what he just said is super powerful, because there's not many opportunities out there where you can truly change someone's life. You got doctors, you have, right, the medical field, right? I'm sure there's a lot of other professions out there where you could actually change someone's life physically, right? Medicine, healing, that. But we really do change people's lives, being able to give people an opportunity, the mentorship, the support, the environment, and cultivate the space for them to quit a job or be in a negative financial situation and use this opportunity as a vehicle and change your life forever. That is such a powerful testimony, and it's a powerful thing to have the ability to do. And I feel like most people, door-to-door people, they don't realize the power they have to truly influence and change people's lives. Therefore, they're not out there sharing the plan and building the business. The reason both of us are in the position we are at, because I would say we're really good recruiters. We're really good recruiters. We're really good leaders. We're good influencers. That whole area, obviously you have to be good at sales to be a sales leader. But I think what separates people from building great organizations and people just staying as a sales professional is their ability to recruit and lead. What tips or tricks can you give to people to help them get better, or at least have the desire to go out there and really build an empire and impact someone's life, dude, like we were just talking about?
I love that question. And what I would say is, like, hey, take a step back, look at it from a bird's eye view. How has this opportunity changed your life? Right? How has it not just, financially, but your mindset, your skill set, your work ethic? You're now a part of a brotherhood that's going to hold you accountable to be the best version of yourself, right? Through the book club, through a transformation challenge, like whatever it is, like, how has this opportunity changed your life? And it's like, wow, okay, it's completely transformed my life. It's transformed all my best friends' lives. And, it's like, okay, it is a disservice. It is selfish that I don't reach out, to my friends. My thought process, like, dude, people right now are looking for something, okay? People right now, a lot of people are just depressed with their job. A majority of, I don't know the exact stat, but most Americans hate what they do. They dread going, like, Friday, it's the best day of the week because, they get the weekend off, right? So you don't know if your friend from high school is, going through a full-on depression because he hates what he does. Like, you don't know what someone is currently going through. And I just kind of look at it like it's selfish. It's a disservice to not reach out and, hey, man, let's hop on a call and see if this is a good fit. That's it, dude. It's either going to be a good fit for them or not. You just got to, get out of your comfort zone and pick up the phone and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they're just, they just let they let other people's opinions, or what they perceive other people's opinions to be, dictate their success to actually make an impact on other people's lives. So what I would say is, like, hey, this is what this opportunity has done for me. It's completely transformed my life. Get out of your comfort zone and start talking to people. Get out of your comfort zone and, you know, start having conversations, dude. That's it.
Yeah, man.
You just got to talk to them and, you know, set up an interview and, you know, see if it's a good fit for them. If it is, great. If it's not, hey, man, no worries. It's good catching up. Let's grab some food soon.
I love this service mentality, because if you can really, you know, especially for people who have been in the industry for a while and it's made a serious impact on their life, if you can really take audit over your life and how your life has been impacted and changed, and think about if the person that didn't tell you about this industry didn't tell you about it, what would you be doing right now? And then you take that conviction and you transfer that over when you speak to other people. Because you can't transfer something to another person if you're not experiencing it yourself. If you're not experiencing confidence, conviction, belief, emotion because of the opportunity itself, you're never going to be able to transfer that to other people, because all sales is, all communication is just a transfer of energy and emotion. And on that point as well, you know, I truly believe that human beings are only looking for two things in life. They're looking for clarity, and they're looking for acceptance. You know, they're looking for clarity. They're looking for, you know, what's your passion? What's your vision? You know, why am I here? Why am I on this journey of my life? And they're looking for acceptance. They're looking for a culture. They're looking to be a part of something bigger than themselves. They're looking for people to celebrate them, not just tolerate them. And if you can really hit those two needs, clarity and acceptance, when speaking to people about this opportunity, it's a game changer, and it potentially could change their life.
I love that, man.
Let's wrap up here, man. I know we could talk about this stuff forever.
For changing your life, man.
I appreciate you, bro. I know we could be talking about this stuff forever, but let's wrap up. Let's talk about some practical stuff. So door-to-door direct sales, sales in general, right? Highest paid profession on the planet. Good salespeople can crush it financially. But as you both know, that's only one step of the equation. You know, making money is just the first step. You got to figure out a way to keep that money, and then you got to figure out a way to duplicate that money. You know, it's for a really long time, I was just income. And it wasn't really till the last 2 to 3 years that I started shifting my focus still to income, right? It's never a spending problem. It's an earning problem, but also to net worth. Because ultimately when these 9, 10-figure earners, right, billionaires and all these, you know, deca millionaires get into a room, they're not talking about how much money they made last month. They're talking about their net worth. So explain to all the listeners out there, like, what your definition is of income versus net worth, and which is more important, equally important, and what they should be focusing on.
Okay. What I would say is hit up my boy Connor McCubbin. He will get you get you right. That is the plug. I'll put the number right here on the screen. But yeah, man, I mean, I would say, like, focus on, you know, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you earn. You know, compounding interest is big. If you're not, if you don't have the habits of investing now, doesn't matter how much money you're making, you're never going to make, those habits. So start now, start investing, into stocks, start putting money away for, retirement, start looking into real estate. Focus on things that are going to, build your net worth. So, it's super important to, have a specific budget. A lot of guys, they make a lot of money and they just blow it on a $100,000 car. They make 50 grand and they buy a $100,000 car. Like, you got to be smart with your finances just to keep it, super simple. Don't blow all your money at the club. Like, you got to be disciplined with your finances and let your money grow for you. So that way you can continue building the portfolio and letting your money work for you while you sleep.
And I think the reason that's really important, and I think this is extremely valuable, especially for the younger, people getting into a high income opportunity, is you're not doing this to drive a nice car or to have a nice watch or, have a really cool lifestyle, right? Like, you may be doing that right now, but the underlying reason you're doing this is for freedom. It's to never have to work again in the rest of your life. It's to have 6 Saturdays and 1 Sunday, never having to worry about money and being whatever wherever you want, doing whatever you want for however long you want. And the only way to accomplish that is to create enough recurring passive income every single month that your overhead and your lifestyle is being covered. And the only way you do that is to invest in assets and not liability, and to have that investing mindset, because we don't know how long these opportunities are going to be here. We don't know how long these earning opportunities are going to be around. So doing it smart the first time, especially when you're young, and realizing the reason you're doing all this, working hard, knocking doors, right, waking up early, being consistent, it's not to flex on your friends. It's to create a lifestyle that you don't need a vacation from. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you start taking actions that are congruent with that goal, and the quicker you're going to get that.
I love that. So what I would say, like, you make your first, 50 grand, 100 grand, hit up the boy, Cubby Cat, Connor McCubbin. He will get your finances right. That guy is literally the GOAT in terms of investments and finance. So make sure you hit him up.
100%. I think it's just important to have resources in your life that support you. We're not good at a lot of things. Most things we're actually not good at, but we found the couple things we're pretty good at. And then we outsource the rest.
Yep.
We find people that are experts at that field and bring them into our network, bring them into the community, hire them as support to offset our weaknesses, right? Don't focus on your weaknesses. You want to have a baseline knowledge at taxes, a baseline knowledge, at finances, a baseline knowledge at legal stuff. But you don't want to spend most of your time on that. You want to spend your time on the thing that's actually producing income, and then use that income to outsource all those things, because you're going to get a bigger ROI on focusing on your money-making activities.
Boom.
And for all those of you guys out there, it's like super important. Find your resources, get them going. Austin, it's been absolutely amazing, man.
Thanks for having me on here.
Appreciate you coming. Any last remarks, any last thoughts for the viewers out there on anything that we covered that you think would be impactful, valuable, that maybe you wish you heard listening to an audio conversation, a podcast, or a video?
I would end on a quote that you just said, is to know and not to do is not to know. Okay, you guys obviously got a lot of value from this podcast. Steven was dropping some absolute bars. It means absolutely nothing if you don't apply what you're learning. Okay, you have to apply. Knowledge without application is hallucination. So I would say, once you learn something, you read a book, instantly go out there and apply it. Okay, success does leave footprints. Like, learn from our mistakes, learn from other people's mistakes. Follow the people that have the results you want, and commit to doing the necessary action steps. Commit to doing the personal development. Commit to doing the affirmations. Commit to doing all those little things you need to do that might not seem so significant, but you understand the compound effect is going to make the biggest difference in your life. So that's all I got, man.
Austin, you've been amazing. Guys, thank you so much for viewing. We appreciate all you millennial millionaires out there and all these striving millennial millionaires out there. We will see you on the next episode.
Hey, follow me on MySpace. Hey, Moiseyev.